Hello there. I've got an interesting box to look at today. This is actually some AMD branded memory. So we've got AMD Performance Series DDR3. So this is DDR3-1866 that came in this box. And you can actually still get AMD memory, but not really in the West. I think there's some Russian manufacturer that's making it. It's a weird situation, not sure what's going on there. But yeah, so back in the DDR3 days, Intel actually introduced their XMP in the DDR3 days, and AMD introduced a competitor to it, AMD AMP, or AMD Memory Profile. So we can see the badge for that just there. And this was memory that was supposed to work well with AMD CPUs, particularly when AMD were doing the FM2 socket, the APUs on that socket, because this AMD's own branded memory actually came fairly late on, alongside the FM2 Plus socket, and they're saying, well, buy our memory to get the best possible performance out of these APUs because it's faster memory, they do well with faster memory. I mean, this memory that we've got here, it is actually not bad. I think it's Hynix MFR chips, which if you're an overclocker that will mean something to you. I've been able to overclock this memory to DDR3-2933 on Intel, funnily enough. But yeah, it overclocks well. It's only single rank. It's only got the memory chips on one side. I don't know if you can see that, but trust me. Which is not ideal for performance, but it does help it to hit the higher speeds. So yeah, but let's go over the box. We're not talking about the memory, we're talking about the box. That's the point of this channel, is to talk about boxes. So yeah, we've got this interesting box here. Free Radeon RAM disk. So AMD had this software called Radeon RAM disk. And apparently it would check what memory you had installed, which I'm sure would be quite easy to fake. But it would check what memory you had installed, and if you had AMD memory, it would actually let you allocate up to 6 gigabytes of it as a RAM disk. So then you can use it as storage, but it's really fast storage. And there are one or two things that benefit from this. Not that many, if we're completely honest, but this is the problem, right? Is okay, you could install a game to the RAM disk and it would load really quickly, but what game is going to fit on that, right? In 6 gig these days, or even then, it was a bit tight, really. And of course, doesn't retain the data. Anyway, so let's flip the box over and just sort of pan over it, as I always like to do. The idea of this channel is I am archiving boxes. I'm not going to read it all out, but yeah, so let's talk about this a little bit. So they talk about running frequencies up to 1866 programmed with JDEC timings. So the JDEC thing, that's DDR3 standards, plug and play it's also called. So that just means it will run those timings without any configuration. But then if you apply the AMP profile, you actually get the tighter timings. And we have a footnote here saying as much. So it says it has a fail-safe boot of CL11 1600. So it will do 1600, 11, 11, 11, and then probably 28 or something for the fourth timing. If you don't apply AMP, but then if you apply AMP, or it does have an XMP profile as well, you get 1866, 910, 927. And only 1.5 volts, which is nice. That's lower than some. Some stuff would be using 1.65 volts to do that. So yeah, and we see here, this one was made by DataRam. AMD actually tapped a few different manufacturers. DataRam are not the one currently making AMD sticks in Russia, but yeah. So that's the box of some AMD Performance Series DDR3. Little bit of a historical artifact now. AMD have, of course, introduced their own profile thing again. They're calling it Expo now. We'll have to see how that goes. I think it depends how popular their processors end up being. They had a little bit of a rocky start because of how expensive the motherboards are. But, they've cut the prices on the processors. You're going to get cheaper motherboards coming out. So I'm sure they'll pick up. But yeah, that's that really. I swear, when I used to shoot videos for this, they'd be really rambling. They managed to be about 20 minutes long, and I've knocked this off in just over 5. But there you go. If you're watching this for whatever reason, I hope you found it interesting, I suppose. Cheers. Bye.